Been really busy.
Flat out, I can't wait just to have a sleep.
Yeah.
We went to Barley last week and even there we were still working. I mean, we did like 2 days of tours and bike ride, or we did like a 5-hour bike ride.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool. And then just did a like traditional Balinese cooking class, which was really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
And the guy was a celebrity chef. He was a Balinese guy, so they actually he took us to his house, like where all their family live and everything.
Yeah.
And then we cooked there, and that was really cool just to learn Balinese food. And then apart from that, I just spent heaps of time just working on myself and getting my mind right for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I saw your photos. That was like during the week, your helicopter and all that.
Oh yeah, that was
awesome.
I think a day. No, that was a couple of days before we went to Bali.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had so much stuff on. It's just been crazy. But I was hoping to do that helicopter ride after the national tour, but we had to use up like the flight thing. I think it finished the end of this month or something.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to be away because I'm on the road for 4 weeks straight without even coming home.
Yeah. When's where's the national
tour? So
tours,
we do Cairns, Brisbane, Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Newcastle, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth, Hobart.
And when you kicking off start that, what's the dates?
Next week. Next week we start in Sydney next Wednesday.
So your whole team's travelling with you?
Just Jess.
Oh, just Jess?
Yeah, just Jess. So we're doing
who's supporting you and all that? So
Jess.
Jess.
Jess. So it's just me and her just for the whole event.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool.
What about the Adelaide event? What day is that?
Oh shit, the 26th I think of June. It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday,
yeah. I think that's a day. I've got to check because everything's just like my whole calendar for the next 6 weeks. Like for 4 weeks I'm on the road, but I think I come home after the 4 weeks straight. I come home for like one or a day, and then I fly back out, and then back for the Adelaide event, and then I fly back out again because I'm also spending a week with a guy called Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Okay.
So he's like one of the world's top neuroscientists.
Yep. So
just spending a week with him, and then also going to an event with a guy called Mitchell Behan, and he's done heaps of stuff in neuroscience and quantum physics, and he's sort of been helping me over the last couple of months, and that's been really cool as well, like learning some new concepts and putting some really cool stuff with quantum physics. And
just taking your program to the next level?
Oh man, it's not even the next level, like it's just blown it way off the scale, because what I started finding really finding was like the NLP and the hypnotherapy and all of those things were really good, but there was something inside of me that was driving me to try and help people find themselves. And what I found is a lot of those tools don't actually teach you how to find yourself. They actually try and create happiness in something that isn't really you anyway. So what happens is, like most people used to come to me, say for instance I would get someone who's doing bodybuilding or sports modeling, and this is because I'm doing a podcast today with Danny Baker, and it's on this topic. I've been thinking about it, so it's been on the forefront of my mind. So what happens is, because there's this little girl and she grows up, or even a male, they grow up and then all of a sudden someone picks on them and calls them fat or calls them ugly or calls them stupid. They create a void in their life, and so that void in their life then becomes something where they need to grow and that they need to overcome as part of their life journey. Now in life we're born with no sensory input, so we don't know anything really. What we know is that we're the same thing as everything else in the world, because at an energetic level we're all the same thing when you get into the quantum level. But what happens is our sensory input tells us otherwise, that we're different. So that's why someone can walk up and stab someone and they'll feel bad about it because they're connected, but all of a sudden they can justify it because of their sensory input and all the things that they've learned in the past, which is now in their brain, which they say, oh well, that's okay because they threatened me, so that makes it okay. So they have all these justifications and these stories about their life, and this person called me ugly and this happened, and so the sensory input actually creates our motivation to grow. And in life, if we're not growing, we're dying. There is no in-between state. And you watched that video last night that I created where I said that
was good.
Yeah, well, heaps of people come to me and they say, Michael, I'm stuck. But it's impossible to be stuck, because if you water a tree, the tree grows. If you stop watering the tree dies. It doesn't stay there. And so humans are the same. We can't be stuck. We're either growing or we're dying. And sometimes The stuck point is a point where we think we're stuck because the external world's not reflecting our growth, but the internal world's the part that's actually growing.
Is this where it's also like where self-sabotage comes in? Because they think they're going backwards and they sort of get into the self-sabotage and they're sort of, okay.
Yeah, self-sabotage is something else that we're going to touch on, and I do talk about that a lot at the next level event. But what happens with self-sabotage, and this is what I was going back to. If I go back to my story, I'll answer that question. So what happens is this person grows up and they've had, you know, kids at school tell them fat, ugly. Their teacher told them that they were dumb, like in my case where I, you know, supposedly had learning difficulties and dyslexia and stuff. So the teacher tells you you're dumb. Now you have a choice. You either buy into that story or you don't. For some people, they buy into it and they go, well, because I'm dumb, then I can't get a good job and maybe I'll just become this and that. And so all of a sudden, they start living a life that's not them. And the more and more they buy into more of other people's stories and the stories of society and the stories of other people's beliefs and ideals and ideas about what life's meant to be, the more they lose themselves. But that's also good because that creates the motivation for our life journey. So our life journey is to grow and to find who we really are as a person. Once we've done that, then like I'm really, really clear with who I am as a person, but that still doesn't mean that there's not things at different levels that push me away from being who I am. Like I don't know my bad traits right now. Like we've all got these things which we can call negative or bad traits, even though they're growing traits. So what happens is I could sit here and condemn and judge someone and tell them that they're stupid and that they're idiotic, but I'm the one that's feeling the pain. Because of that, the more that happens, then it pushes me into a state where I get stressed and frustrated and angry at other people. But eventually there comes a point where my brain almost implodes and it says, you need time alone to figure this stuff out. And then because of that, we push everybody away. We push everything from the external world away and we say, right, I need to get to know me again. And then because of that, we learn and we grow. And then when it's called perturbation. When the cell's under heaps of pressure, it expands. So because of that pressure, we keep learning and growing and putting ourselves under this pressure, and all of a sudden the brain perturbates and grows and we go, now I get the solution to that problem. I don't need to live it anymore. And so the next time someone can come up and judge you, like I remember being called fat as a kid and things like that, and that drove me for years. And that was the reason why I started in the gym, and because I felt ugly and stupid and horrible and dumb and all of those sort of things, which I think is the case for most people who go to the gym and start exercising and so on. But then it wasn't until I got my breakthrough where I actually collapsed that and realised that it was actually a benefit to me that kid called me fat, because it created the motivation for me to look after my body. And if they'd never done that, I'd probably be overweight and sick and tired and run down and all that, which I'm not.
Yeah, I was in the same situation in the office where everyone like called me sick, called me fat, and I sat there for like, I think it's good years, sort of thought about, okay, we need to go get a gym membership, and I did boxing. I lost weight back then, and that sort of motivated me to keep going, and you know, there's always the haters out there, but I think that motivated me to keep going. So
so it's not until we realise that there's a positive in the negative and a negative in the positive, where it's called, Dr. John Demartini actually really created this, which is where he calls it the collapse of the wave function, where he turns the positive into the negative and the negative into the positive, and your brain has this point of enlightenment. And that point of enlightenment, and I get into this at the event where I go into it more, when someone says that someone's an enlightened human being, they got no idea what enlightenment's about, because if someone's an enlightened human being, they don't need to live anymore because they've figured out everything in life. What a point of enlightenment is, and the Dalai Lama was asked what it's like to be an enlightened human being, and he said, I'm not an enlightened human being, I have points of enlightenment, which means it's that aha moment where you sit there and you might be like crying or welling up or something like that, and you're like laughing at the same time, and you're like freaking out and your brain's all scattered, and it's like you don't know what to do, and there's all these emotions crashing into each other. But it's actually where it collapses everything and you go to a state of consciousness. So the next time someone comes up to me and calls me fat, I actually don't have a response to it, because I don't have any emotion to it anymore. When someone says I've figured it all out, so I get this all the time where I get people who have done heaps of self-development or heaps of coaching and blah, 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 and they come and they say, you know, Michael, I've figured all this stuff out, you know, I know everything you're telling me about, but they're still living that same emotional state, which means they haven't actually collapsed the wave function, or they haven't actually had that point of enlightenment. What they've done is they've put all the information on top. And the brain has 3 levels. Tell me if I'm talking too fast, because I'm getting excited about this stuff.
I know you do.
So there's 3 levels that I mean, if you're a neuroscientist out there, don't flip out and freak out if this is on video or not. I'm not sure if we're filming right now or not, but
we are.
Cool. So yeah, if you're a neuroscientist or got a background in psychology, don't get like all, you know, hurt and all that sort of stuff and send me hate mail. You know, it's a lot more complex than this, but at simplicity, there's 3 levels of the brain. So we have the superficial level. Then there's a deeper level which looks after our emotion or our limbic system. Then underneath, I call it the reflexive system. So the reflexes are like, if I throw something at you, your natural reflex is to put your hands out and grab it or to move or whatever. That's not something that you were born with, that's something that you were taught. And so what happens is when you know something, like if I threw a ball at my nephew who's 18, 19 months, he would probably start to have reflexes, but the ball would probably hit him in the face. Okay? Not that I would do that, maybe every now and again, if I'm kicking the footy with him by accident. But so you throw the ball and they don't really have that reflex, so they'll keep having that same impact or that same thing happen to them over and over and over again until the reflex changes. So what happens to most people at the deep superficial level when they're a kid, we learn 95% of all of those reflexes by the time we're around 8 years of age. So at 8 years of age, we've already taken in the kid who called us fat, the kid who's angry, the kid who's upset, the kid who hurts us, what mum and dad think about what a relationship is, what it means to be healthy, what it means to be... So we've got all of this input already in there. Plus, I forgot to mention, we're born with our values. So we already have our top 3 values. So for me, my value is community and connection. I love being around people. I love learning and growing. And I love having fun experiences. So they're my deepest values, and they always have been ever since I was a little kid. But when you're a little kid, you create voids. So they're taken away from us to teach us. So for me, I didn't get to have good experiences, and I was a dumb kid at school. Whereas now I've spent $500,000 on study because it's so important to me. And I travel, I get to do things, I hang out with really cool people because I'm always learning and growing and having these experiences. And my community is like the most important thing in my life, as well as my family, and same as my friends. So we go through these certain stages in life with voids and so on. But what it all does, it creates those problems that we need to solve as part of our life journey. Now, once we develop those reflexes, so say someone has a fear of judgment, that's a reflex. It becomes something in the way they live. But then what happens is most people go to these self-development seminars, read all the books and everything like that, which sits on the superficial layer, so they think they get it. So they think they get the knowledge, and then they come to me and they go, oh, but Michael, you know, I get all this stuff and everything you're saying, I get it. But then they go out to the real world and they keep making the same damn mistakes. And it's because what's happened is it hasn't clicked to them at an emotional level, but then it also hasn't clicked deep enough at an emotional level where it collapses the wave function and sends it back into the reflex. So it's only when it's a reflex that you actually know and you stop living that same thing over and over again. So that's like the person who comes to me and says, Michael, I keep meeting the same guys all the time. You know, they treat me like shit, you know, blah, 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 or I keep losing all my money, or like I have all of these experiences over and over again with clients. But what happens is they've read all the books, they've done all the seminars, they've hired all the coaches, they've gone to NLP, hypnotherapy. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some good therapists out there, but they're few and far between. And so what happens is everything's superficial level, and because of that, it creates more and more emotional destruction because they're going, shit, I've spent all this money, I've figured all this stuff out, yet I still don't have the result that I want. So what they're doing now is they create this polar opposite, where in the internal world, they're falling apart, but on the outside world, they've been taught to be positive. So what they're doing is they're holding these 2 walls that are collapsing in on them apart, which then burns them out all the time. So now because they're burned out, and they're tired all the time, they're getting home from work and they're stressed and they're frustrated and they're trying to be happy and they tell everyone that they're having a great day, yet on the inside they're like, why do I keep having all this shit go down, and why can't I afford the bills, and the bills come in and someone hit my... You know what I mean? So they're going through these things.
That's crazy.
So they're trying to hold these 2 walls apart that are crushing in on them, which is burning so much energy, and then they get home, they go, oh, you know what I need? I need a glass of wine, I need to eat some pizza. So then all of a sudden...
the cycle, it happens again and again.
And then tomorrow they wake up and they go, shit, I better go train at the gym and burn all that crap off that I ate last night, and that's it, today I'm going to start, and now I'm going to read another book that's going to teach me all the things that I already know, but I'm not, you know, that haven't changed. And then so they just keep going through the cycle over and over again.
That's crazy.
So that's the craziness of it all.
Well, the cafe is always good. I love it. I love it there. The food's great.
Cheers, mate. Thank
That's
you.
Right. I love ginger. Anything that's with ginger is just so good. I think that's why because all my juices have ginger, and that's why I don't get sick, because the ginger just burns the bacteria away, and I just love it. Ever since I got become a PT, I've never gone really sick. And that's like almost 9 years ago now. Yeah, low energy, but never got sick.
Yeah, same.
I think because I'm always out and about doing stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm the same, man. I put ginger in everything.
Yeah.
And chili.
Ah, I love chili.
If it's not on fire, it's not hot enough. That's why I love barley in their food, just eating all the hot stuff.
What's barley food? It's like almost like, is it half like Vietnamese or Thai?
Yeah,
or...
it's probably a mixture between both. So they do like duck's a common dish, so they do like a fried duck sort of thing. Some sambal as well, so just like chilies and all of that stuff.
I love chili.
They make they have heaps of chicken as well.
Yeah.
So chicken and duck are common.
Yeah.
They do have beef as well, but it's not a normal heaps common dish.
It's amazing, like things like that. We get scared of eating here because it's like the thing is all fat and all, but it's not processed foods, and so what they're like over there, the health-wise, like their food's pretty. They look pretty healthy and.
Depends where you go. Like when we did the cooking course, we didn't go with like a normal cooking course.
Yeah.
The guy who did it was a young guy, and he was really, really cool, like really, really good. And he was local, so he knew everybody. And so we went to the Balinese markets.
Yeah.
Because he said there's like the barley markets, and then there's actual barley markets. And he said so the tourists go to the barley markets, and it's all clean and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, we're taking you to the raw markets. So they're like,
I love that. That's more me. Like I like going to like really raw places that are untouched, so
it's pretty full on. Like there's dudes walking out of there with like 3 chickens by the legs that are still moving around, and
oh my god,
people were walking up like buying ducks, and they just grab them by the neck and pick them up and look at them, put them back down, and you're like, whoa, it's pretty intense. But that's the way, that's their lifestyle and the way they live, and we have a culture that we live by, and they have a culture that they live by, and I don't judge that sort of stuff. It's just how it is.
It's like Vietnam. Like if you go to the raw markets where everyone's just in this big shaded place, and they come up with their boats, or they come up with their bikes, or they're made at home, or what they grew at home, they'll bring it to sell it. I'm going to Vietnam in September actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just for a week, 2 weeks.
I think we're going to Vietnam in January.
Yeah, have you been?
Or February? No, I never have.
Oh, it's really good. Yeah, it's really good. Like the food's amazing. It's just awesome. I've been there 7 times. It's so good.
We were just looking for a good time of year to go because we've never been over there, so we didn't know what was monsoon season, what wasn't.
Yeah.
When was a good time where it wasn't cold and hot, because we were told that Vietnam, like the temperature can change from the north to south quite a lot.
It does, yeah. So I'm more sort of north side, so that's where my parents are born. So at the seminar for Adelaide, what's included? What's so if I'm first time there, what am I going to learn from there?
Cool. Well, we have everybody who comes. Like lately, I only work with either professional athletes who are earning a lot of money, or business people who are normally earning a lot of money. Because what I just found was that I put in different levels in our learning, because certain people are ready for things at different times. And what I used to do was I'd try and help everybody when they'd only just start moving, and it would be overloading, overwhelming, and most people wouldn't do what they needed to do in the first step, but they'd want the end step. And so
isn't it Anthony Robbins does that? Like he gets a big crowd first, and then everyone wants to step up to the next level, so into the next platform. From there, get next level, and to a point where you're coaching that 4 people or 3 people.
Yep, that's exactly the model that I use these days, and I like it as well, because the people that I get to spend one-on-one time with are very high achievers, and they're the people who inspire me and push me and motivate me, and they actually keep me on my toes quite a lot as well. So I really like my private clients are friends. Like we go out to dinner with them, have stuff like that. But yeah, it's really, really cool. So what I found was that having different levels also keep really commitment levels at a certain thing, because what I found was when I first started coaching, and you probably would have gone through this as well, you want to help everybody, and then you end up all of a sudden, like I'd get clients who'd come in, they go, oh Michael, I'd love to see you, and I'd spend 4 or 5 hours with them, and then at the end they'd go, oh look, I haven't got the money, but then they just told me for an hour about the new car they bought and the new rims they put on their car, and I'm thinking, well, hang on, what's the priority here? Is it you and your growth and your development, or is it trying to impress other people with your car and your rims? So I would have these huge internal conflicts, and I started hating myself because I wasn't earning any money. I was struggling to eat, I was struggling to buy food, and there were a couple of times where I almost went bankrupt. And same again, I put on a happy face and a smile, but I was pissed, and it was just because some people who'd come see me, most people who came to see me weren't at the level that they needed one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
They needed to learn how to start to get moving first.
Yeah, I think it's just like exactly like grip fitness. That you have a bunch of people training, and also you have like that 5% or 10% of people that just want to train by themselves one-on-one to bring them to the next level, basically. And the ones that just want to stay there, they can stay there. And then there's one that just want to train even further, so they spend money to actually get coaching one-on-one. So
one of my mentors pulled me up one day, and he was a mentor I paid a lot of money for, actually, that I'm still paying a lot of money for. And he pulled me up and he said, Michael, people pay attention when they pay.
Oh yeah, and I think the price tells everything. If it's, I know it's psychology, like if it's cheap, then they're like, but if it's a lot of money, they'll pay attention.
Yeah, I mean, I pay $30-something thousand for one of my mentors, and when he talks, I do it. And there's two reasons why: because I pay him a lot of money, but also as well that I don't want to lose him as a coach. The worst thing I think that can ever happen, which most clients don't understand, and you're probably the same. To me, money's not the reason why I get up out of bed.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, they go to work to have a job because they're trying to make money to impress other people, or to prove that they're right, or to prove that they're happy, or to prove something to somebody at an internal emotional level. So because of that, they go to a job that they dislike, and then they believe that everyone else works for money just like they do. Yeah. And that money's their sole purpose. And they believe, most of the time, most people who do that believe that rich people get rich because they focus on money all the time, which is the complete opposite. Rich people get rich because they don't focus on money, they focus on what actually creates the money, which is the thing that they're good at.
Yeah.
So I do the thing I'm good at, just like you do the thing you're good at, which is your passion. So you live your passion because you get to know you more, and then because you know you more, other people buy into your passion and your energy and your motivation, your enthusiasm, your excitement, and then they buy into your knowledge because you're studying all the time because you're so enthusiastic about it. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, which then, you make more money, and then, like I get told now, you say that you want to help everybody, but really it's all about the money. It's not about the money. It's just I put barriers in place because I don't want my time wasted. My time's the most valuable asset I got, far more important than money. I don't want to have someone that I'm going to spend 3 hours with who's not going to do anything with the information that I give them, or who's going to be back in the same position. I want someone who's going to work for them. You know what I mean? So there's different levels. So at this event, I say that it's a basic level, but it's a basic level that'll still blow someone's mind. Like, they'll come in and they'll learn, even if they're a coach and they've studied all the stuff and they've done all the courses, I can guarantee they'll walk away and that will blow their mind.
And this will help like people who like, say, fitness, weight loss, money, relationship, or what's it focus on? Like,
the main thing I focus on is alignment between our mindset and our emotions. Okay, because psychology and NLP and that focuses a lot on the mind, and then there are other stuff that focus on the emotions or the spiritual aspect of whatever's going on. But it's not until everything's in alignment that things start working, that things click into place. Because what will happen is the average person will say, right, I know I need to eat healthy, I know I need to exercise, I know I need to train, I know all this stuff, yet my emotions are, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm overweight, and all the I ams that they have. And I am is a self-fulfilling prophecy once again. Because what happens is, anything that's an I am, it's a belief that that's who you are at a deep subconscious level. So when someone says, oh, I'm having a fat day, and I'm so fat, and I'm so this, and I'm so that, what they're actually saying is that's a deep internal belief. And even though you can point it out to them and go, oh, come on, not that fat, they'll still believe it. And they'll still believe it at their core, which means that when they start exercising, they'll lose the weight. But then that deep subconscious part, which is the reflex, will kick back in and say, yeah, but hang on, you're a fatty. And then all of a sudden they find themselves, look here, and I'm going to cancel my coaching this month. Michael, sorry, I'm not rocking up to your coaching. I've had this stuff come up and you don't understand, life's so busy, and all the excuses start coming out again. But it's actually a barrier that they're putting up again to sabotage everything that they've already got. And then, so what I do is I get in there and I work out, what are your goals like? What are the things that you really want? But also, who are you as a person? Because for me personally, being healthy isn't something that I do. It's something that I am. Because in order for me to live the life that I want to live, which is, I don't really care about exercising and all that sort of stuff. I used to, but I don't. What I care about is having the energy and having the motivation and the enthusiasm, the excitement to do the thing which is my sole purpose, which I call my sole purpose or my sole contract, which is why I'm here as a person, why I'm here as a human, which is to help millions of people around the world to align their thoughts with their emotions and to really find who they are as a person so that they can really fulfill what they want to live in life, and I call that thriving. I want to teach people how to thrive. Now, I can't do that if I'm tired and run down and stressed and frustrated and overweight and sick. So the exercise is just a part of that. It's a part of me. So I teach people how to find more of themselves and to start aligning more of the things in their life so that they don't have to worry about balance, so they don't worry about having to fix their mind or to, sort out their emotions. It's who they are as a person.
Yeah. And
that's where the power comes from. Like, you don't even, I know you as a person, as a close friend, you don't even think about getting up and going and exercise. It's not like, oh shit, I've got to get out of bed this morning. It's just like, I'm going exercising. It's a different feeling.
I guess when you have those values, you don't think of it. I think if you have, I think values is almost like a goal, basically, like a set concrete goal for life. And once you have that, you just move, So
100%. So yeah, the event's really about getting that alignment in. But we get everyone from, I've had guys who are some of my clients now who make in excess of $100 million in their business, and it's privately owned, right through to elite athletes. We've had drug addicts, alcoholics, people with depression, anxiety, eating disorders, bodybuilders, sports models, and then mums, dads. We get everybody. That's why I love our events, because we have such a mix. And afterwards as well, it's really cool, because normally I go out for dinner that night and I invite everyone who wants to come, who can stay around. And so we just go out for dinner and I get to hear about everybody's stories, and it's really cool because we all go on that journey of wanting to find ourselves. And I get really excited when somebody's growth driven, like when they're truly committed to themselves. That's when I get excited.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll just help them to keep going through the levels. So the next level is really about how do you take your mental and emotional state to that next level by aligning who you are as a person and figuring out exactly who you are, where you want to go, what your true values are. Because like I used to go to the gym to look a certain way, whereas now I actually don't care how I look.
Yeah.
Because it's not fulfilling to me. And that's why self-sabotage happens, because people do things for the wrong reasons most of the time. Same as my car. Once I found out who I was as a person, I actually don't care what I drive around in. And I rock up to client meetings and I drive, Jess's, or my girlfriend's car, for anyone who doesn't know, her little Hyundai Getz, and I rock up at these meetings with, multi-millionaires, and it's awesome because I get judged.
Yeah.
And they'll judge me, and I was in a meeting only a little while ago, and my friend was there, and he said to me, I said, how did the boys respond afterwards? And he said, well, they actually said if you were that good, you wouldn't be driving, the little Hyundai Getz.
Yeah. And
I said, okay, cool. And then about 3 or 4 weeks later, one of them hired me and paid me a lot of money to be his private coach.
Yeah.
Because, what he started realizing was that he was trying to be someone he wasn't. So he was living the high life where he had the cars and the big houses and the nice suits and all that sort of stuff. But he was miserable because he put himself under so much pressure. Every day he was waking up and he was on the grind. Like, he was right at the point where he was either going to make it big or he was going to lose everything. And that's a crappy place to live. Whereas, once you are who you are, you don't need to impress anyone or prove anyone.
I think I saw it somewhere. It's like, it's harder to maintain an image if you're not real, you to be yourself. But yeah.
Yeah, one of my best mates is Brad Smith, who's a Global Young Entrepreneur of the Year, and he's built 6 multi-million-dollar companies by the age of 26.
Yeah.
And he's probably the nicest guy. When I met him, it was at a business event.
Yeah.
And there were 300 business people there, and the average earning they worked out was about $2.2 million. So high net worth. I was broke at the time because I actually had to go get a credit card in order to put the event on because I couldn't afford it. But I did whatever it took to get the result that I wanted, which was to be in a room with those people, because you are who you hang around. And so I'm sitting there, and Brad's was the only guy not in a business suit. He was wearing jeans and a hat backwards and all that. He looked completely out of place. And when the break happened, everyone came from everywhere to say hi to Brad. All these multi-millionaire business guys came from everywhere to shake Brad's hand and say hello, because he's just such a passionate, energetic guy. And Brad said to me one day, he said, Michael, you know what one of my beliefs was from a kid? I'd rather be good than look good.
Yeah.
And I went, woohoo, that's good. I like that. So
that's passion, you know. So.
And that's really where you find yourself as well, where you stop
Yeah.
worrying about what other people think. You just do what you do.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
So that's what the event's about.
Amazing.
Did that make any sense at all, or did I just rant on for like 20 minutes?
Nah, you're passionate about it. So, everyone, if you want to check him out, Mojo Master on Facebook.